door to the cabin opens and little Pendleton the Penguin, wearing his favorite scarf, walks outside carrying a large plate of kelp with his left flipper, eating with a fork. Kelp is like seaweed and is very good for you too. As he starts across the ice to Shaman's cave, Shaman's the polar bear, Tammuz sticks his head out of the front door. Pendleton wanted to play in the snow this morning with Tammuz. Tammuz says, "I'm very, very sorry, little one, I'm very sorry, but I have so much work to do." He's always working, this guy. "I have so much work to do, maybe later, maybe tomorrow, or maybe..." But Tammuz was always too busy to play, always. Pendleton turned around and just looked at Tammuz. "That's okay," said Pendleton, "I understand. I'm gonna go see Shaman and Miss Ying, and I'll be back soon enough. Please be careful," Tammuz warned as the little penguin walked off eating his plate of kelp. Soon Pendleton was in front of Shaman's cave. "Shaman, Shaman, Shaman, Miss Ying." He could hear a buzzing sound coming towards the front of the cave as Miss Ying landed by the entrance and folded her wings by her side. "Good morning, my dear Pendleton, and how are you this morning?" Pendleton says, "I am very well, thank you. And you, Miss Ying?" "Oh, well, you know." As her voice trailed off, Miss Ying had been promising Pendleton that she would go for a walk with him, but she had not left the safety of her cave in almost 10 years. I'd like to go for a walk with Shaman if he's not too busy, Miss Ying." Pendleton always enjoyed being with Shaman. The big bear was very smart and wise, and he had taught Pendleton many things in the short time that they had known each other. "Oh, but he is not here, little one, and I can't go. Won't you come in, please?" Pendleton stepped back and he looked up at the sun and the blue sky. He looked at the seagulls skimming over the water, and he looked at all of the snow and the ice. No, Miss Ying, this is not a day to be inside. This is a beautiful day. I have to be outside. Besides, I have a feeling, I have a feeling about today." Of course, Pendleton had a feeling about every day. He always expected something great to happen, and something usually did happen. Nothing special ever happened to Miss Ying because all of her days were spent in the cave. Pendleton turned towards the cave. He's still eating turned away from the cave, still eating his plate of kelp. I think I'll go by the water for a little while, Ying." And Pendleton said, "Please be careful, little one. I could see that the whales are in the bay from here this morning." "If I am lucky enough," said Pendleton, "then maybe I'll get to meet one of them." "I hope he'll be all right," Ying thought to herself. As our little friend approached the end of the ice, he heard a loud shh, followed by a large spray of water coming from the bay. He looked up to see a giant eyeball looking at him. Pendleton had never slowed down. He walked over to the giant orca. The whale turned so that his mouth was facing Pendleton. "Good morning, Mr. Whale." "Good morning, Mr. Penguin." Pendleton giggled at the whale as he threw his scarf over his shoulder. No, not Mr. Penguin. I am Pendleton. What is your name?" The large whale smiled at our little friend and spoke in a voice that sounded like soft thunder. "My name is Zeus." "What is that you're eating, Pendleton?" And Pendleton says, "Kelp." And the whale goes, "Yeah, yuck." The whale makes this funny face, and Pendleton laughs at the funny face on Zeus. "Have you ever tried eating kelp, Zeus?" He said, No, I don't like things that are green." Pendleton laughs again, and he says, "So what do you eat?" And the whale says, "I like penguins."
Oh, no.
So Pendleton points his right flipper and his fork at Zeus, and he says, "That's not very nice, Mr. Whale. I would not tell you that I would like a nice whale steak every now and then." "You're right, Pendleton, you're right, and I do apologize." Pendleton moves closer to the edge of the ice. The whale's head now towers over the penguin. Besides, this is all I eat, kelp. No, no thank you, says the whale. Mr. Zeus? I said no thank you. And he says, and Pendleton says, every day you should try something new. Today, you're going to try kelp. Zeus gave in. What can it hurt? He opened his mouth and Pendleton gives him a forkful. What was that, says Zeus. Kelp. Pendleton, I'm over 15,000 pounds. I can't taste something off of a fork. So Pendleton shovels the entire plate into the mouth of the whale. You're right, little one. That is good. And tasty too. Do you have more? Why, yes, I do, back home. Wait here, and I'll get some more. I was going to ask you something, Zeus. What? He says, would you please teach me how to swim? The whale looks at Pendleton and he laughs and he says, you're a penguin. How can you not swim? Pendleton raises his small left flipper and waves it at Zeus. His left flipper is half the size of his right flipper. Can you use it? Asked the whale. Pendleton nods, yes, I can. Well, then use it and keep using it, little one. Yes, I can help you. Well, why don't you ask your friend there to help you? Pendleton says, what friend? And he says, the one behind you, the one behind you. Pendleton turns around and Miss Ying is sitting 15 feet behind him with her wings folded by her side. Now, she hasn't been out of the cave in she hasn't been out of the cave in 10 years. Ying, how long have you been? She says, I didn't want to get too close to the water, she answers as Pendleton turns to Zeus. Well, you see, this is a magical sort of day, Miss Ying. This is my friend, Mr. Zeus. Zeus, this is my very special friend, Miss Ying. Then they both said hello. Pendleton hurried home and brought back some kelp for Zeus while the giant whale talked to Miss Ying. By the time Pendleton had returned, Shaman had joined the group. He seemed amazed that Ying had left the cave. Pendleton, I don't know how you did it. I've been trying for 10 years. Pendleton dumps the plate of kelp into the mouth of the giant orca as Shaman speaks. So Zeus, what do you think of our little friend here? Zeus says, I have noticed the two of you going for your walks together while I swam in the bay with my family. I have also noticed Miss Ying watching you from the front of the cave. I felt that she would step out when the time was right. Zeus looked down at Pendleton. Thank you, Pendleton. That was delicious. Pendleton steps back from Zeus, stands next to Miss Ying in front of Shaman as the bear spoke. I would like to think that the two of them could work as a team. There is so much that they will be able to see in their lifetimes. Zeus answers, Pendleton, Miss Ying, over 50 years ago, I swam into this bay for the first time, and Shaman was already here. We have seen much through each other's eyes. Yes, so much, Shaman. You're right, says Zeus. It's always better to have someone to share new things with. Zeus starts back up in the water. I have to get back to my family now. Pendleton, remember, whatever you can imagine, you will do. And all that you think that you can do, you will. What about me, shouts Miss Ying. Well, you too, Ying. It's never too late to start, even 10 years later. I'll be back some other time, he says as he swam out to the other whales and shouted from the icy waters as he dove and disappeared. Pendleton looks at Shaman. Is that true, Shaman? Is everything that he said true? Yes, little one. Imagine it strong enough, hard enough. See yourself doing it, and you will do it. How's that? Miss Ying said, Miss Ying, I see myself swimming, and I see you in the water with me. Will you help me tomorrow? Ying hesitates for a second as Shaman gives her a nudge with his giant paw. Yeah, why not, Pendleton? I'll help. Good, tomorrow it is. But there is just something I have to do now. I will see you both tomorrow, as he quickly makes his way back to the cabin. Back at the cabin, Pendleton puts the plate on the ground, plate from the stove on the ground, about 30 feet from the house, and starts making snowballs. As he starts lobbing them at the plate, using his left flipper, a small one. Pretty soon, he's landing the snowballs on the plate once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Then he picks up the plate and stands it up against the house and starts throwing the snowballs overhand. Pretty soon, he's hitting the plate. A dog barks from inside the cabin. The curtain on the window moves as Tammuz looks to see and then comes out. "What is it, Pendleton? What's going on out here? What? I'm working. What is it? Look, I'm exercising. See? Watch, look at me. I can't. I'm working, I'm telling you." As Tammuz turns to go back into the cabin, a snowball hits him right in the back. What the heck? And he turns around towards the Pendleton. Pendleton throws his arms up, or his slippers up, and he says, "Well, now I suppose you think I did it." Tammuz looks around. There's nobody anywhere. Just the penguin standing in front of, in back of a mountain of snowballs. He points his finger at Pendleton and says, "Stop it now. I have to get back to work." As he turns to go back into the cabin, another snowball hits him in the back, then another. Pow! Pow! Tammuz lets out this big laugh and bends over and starts throwing snowballs back at Pendleton. But the penguin is way too quick. Pow! 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 Nope. Work would have to wait. Now it was time to have some fun. So Pendleton started out the day thinking that something special was going to happen, and what happened? He met a new friend in Zeus. Miss Ying had left her cave for the first time in 10 years. Tammuz had finally stopped working long enough for some playtime. All of that in one day. You see, when the sun rises on a new day, all things are possible. Tomorrow is going to be a great